Hi everyone, Sarah Nelson from Real Balanced here, and we are going to talk about something today that I get a lot of questions about, which is following keto while following a budget. So if you are someone that is either brand new to keto or you've been doing it for a while and are kind of realizing like, oh my gosh, some of these ingredients and products that I want to buy seem so expensive, there's no way I can start to afford this or continue to afford this, you're going to watch this video. You're going to want to watch this video. So in the video, I'm just going to cover 7 tips that I have. And that might sound like a lot, but we'll kind of breeze through them. And then if you guys have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section, and either I will get to them during the live video, or if you're watching the replay, I will go through after and I will respond to you via keyboard, I guess. So the first thing that we're going to talk about, the first tip, is that you just need to plan. So you've probably heard this before, but going into the grocery store, there's a lot of there can be impulse buying. So if you're hungry, you might buy things that you would otherwise have not bought, which can lead to buying food that you probably shouldn't be eating, or it can just lead to paying more money than you should have. So the first thing that you're gonna wanna do is go in with a plan. So sit down, if you're gonna meal prep on a Sunday, maybe on Saturday for like 20 minutes, do some Google searching, Pinterest searching, whatever you wanna do, find some recipes that you wanna make for that week. Write down all the ingredients that you're gonna need and then how much you need to buy, and buy that amount. You don't need to go above and beyond. I know that I've done that in the past, where if I wanna make a recipe and I'm like, oh, it needs chuck roast or something, and I don't look at like the weight of what I need to buy, I overbuy, and then I end up having more food than I actually needed. So I spent more money, and then a lot of times that food maybe just goes into the freezer and I forget about it, and it's just money that we didn't need to spend just because I didn't prepare in advance. So find the recipes that you want to make, and obviously when you're doing that, you can find recipes that require ingredients that are cheaper. So if you want to be doing like a cheaper breakfast, like a frittata is a great idea. You can just get eggs, which are pretty cheap. If you want to put cream in it, cheese, spinach, what have you. So going in with a plan and listing the exact amounts of ingredients that you need, I find always helps me to spend less money and then to not overbuy. The next thing we're going to talk about is buying in bulk. So this is tip number 2. So if you have the ability to shop at a store that sells things in bulk that doesn't require a membership, because I do realize that's an extra cost. The stores I'm referring to are things like Sam's Club and Costco, which do require like an annual membership. I will say, like for us personally, we got a deal on our Costco membership just through Groupon. I think we got it for like 80% off. So that's definitely something you can look for, is like doing a quick Google search of like Costco discount membership. If you do want to buy things in bulk, because if you are unfamiliar, or maybe if you don't live in the US and don't have access to things like that, basically Costco and Sam's Club are like wholesale places. So you can buy, a massive thing of coconut oil, which as long as you know you're going to use it, will end up being less money over time. And coconut oil is a great example because it's something that, it stays fresh for pretty long. I guess like any like cooking fat. So we buy like avocado oil at Costco, and it always ends up being a lot cheaper because we do go through it so fast. Same goes for like coffee beans and stuff. We go through it, it lasts long enough. So we'll buy like a 5-pound bag instead of buying, an 8-ounce bag at the grocery store. So overall, up front, it might be a little bit more money, but you'll save money in the end. If you do buy in bulk, and for us, we only are 2 people, we don't have kids. So obviously food goes bad. So we have a chest freezer, but it's not super big. And we got it from a family member. So the thing that I would suggest doing is, if you want to start buying in bulk, but you have no idea where you're going to store anything, and you don't want to pay full price for a brand new chest freezer, because the chest freezer is truly game changing, especially when it comes to buying protein in bulk. We just like sent out a Facebook, or put something on Facebook, said, does anyone have a chest freezer that they're willing to part ways with? And we got it for really cheap, instead of buying a brand new one, which, chest freezers last forever. So when we bought ours, it's still working great. And it's not even like a massive one, but it does the job. And so like, for example, when we were at Costco recently, there was a sale on pork shoulder. So I bought a ton. And then as I need it, I can cut it off, put it in the slow cooker, or put it in the Instant Pot. And then over time, that's going to be a lot cheaper than buying it for, a couple dollars a pound, when this was like $1 a pound or something. The next thing you can do is just buy produce seasonally. Grocery stores will kind of like help you. So you don't really even need to go and do research in advance, like what is in season for April in Wisconsin, it usually is, if you just look around the grocery store in the produce section, you're gonna start seeing sales. And those are the things that you should be buying. Those are typically the things that are in season, which, and especially now for us in Wisconsin, some people have farmers markets all year long, but in Wisconsin, the outdoor farmers markets are gonna, start opening up. And that's a great place to shop. Not only are you usually getting things for much cheaper, you're also supporting your local farmer and supporting your local community, which is super important. And it also can feel like you're doing like maybe a day date or something with your significant other or your family, which you're also getting for cheaper then because you're not really paying for admission, I guess, at most farmers markets. I've never paid for an admission at a farmer's market. The next thing is, and I started doing this I started doing this in college, and it helps save money so much, is don't buy drinks. We used to do that. We would buy LaCroix and we would buy canned seltzer water, and but like in college, I was drinking diet soda and all that kind of stuff. Just cut it out. It's expensive. You don't need it. We still drink carbonated water and seltzer water constantly. It's like my favorite drink. I just love having carbonated water. But we bought a Soda Stream, which is just one of those things that you just put a CO2 container in it and just you pump it basically, and it puts carbonation into your water. The amount of money we probably have saved over time from that thing is exponential, because buying LaCroix and buying seltzer water, it's tons of money, and it's kind of wasteful too. It's just a lot of aluminum that you're, for me, I can chug a LaCroix and then toss it. So doing things like that, buying, I guess, kitchen household appliances, for example, with the not buying drinks anymore, is super beneficial, and you will save money over time, especially if you're like us and do enjoy drinking seltzer water. The next thing is just to shop sales. So if you have time to go into the grocery store, obviously make your list, but especially with protein, because that can really add up in cost. Just look what's on sale. So depending on what grocery store you go to, and if you have extra time, maybe doing some research in advance, looking through if they sent out a coupon book, and if you want to go to multiple stores in one day, because for us, Aldi's or Costco has the cheapest ground beef, but then our local grocery store that we really love always has really good sales on ribeye and more expensive cuts of meat. Then we can also go, if we want something even more specialty, is that our actual butcher that's in our area, they sometimes do sales. So I think that the overarching thing here is, if you're going to shop sales, know that it's either going to take you a little bit longer in the store, or that you just need to prepare a little bit more in advance. And that goes back to also that the chest freezer thing is going to be really beneficial when it comes to shopping sales on protein, because obviously, you probably, if you're only feeding a family of 2 or 4, the meat might go bad in that time. So it's important to freeze it, of course. Leftovers. My husband will probably watch this video and know that I'm talking about him. He doesn't like to eat leftovers, and I'm totally cool with it. And if he will, he's just not great about it. We put a lot of food in our fridge. I do cook for a living, so we have tons of food all the time in the fridge, but eating leftovers, especially when it means making a dinner and having enough for lunch the next day, which will hopefully make it so that you're not paying to go out to eat if you're someone that works in an office, will save you so much money. So if you're gonna buy something a little bit more in bulk, make enough to eat for the next few days for the whole family for lunch and dinner. The thing that I would say with that, and it might be a little bit more of an upfront cost in addition to it, is buying Tupperware. Buy good quality Tupperware. Don't buy cheap stuff, because especially if you're going to put something in the freezer, it'll be more likely to get freezer burnt, which in turn will just lead you to throwing it away, which defeats the whole purpose of even freezing it. So buy some good quality Tupperware. Go on Amazon, read some reviews. We have a couple different brands, Rubbermaid, the Tupperware brand, and what have you. And those are great. And they make it so that they're, removing all the air within the actual container, which will then lead to it staying fresh and not getting all that, ice that gets on it when it sits in the freezer for too long. The last thing, I guess I wasn't numbering all the tips, guys, sorry. The last tip, number 7, is just do the best you can. Buy the best you can. There's always the conversation of buying organic, buying grass-fed, buying pasture-raised eggs, and that can add up. Don't let that deter you from changing your lifestyle and how you eat. It can feel super overwhelming to even just change from eating, cereal for breakfast to eggs and bacon for breakfast, which would be a great low-carb breakfast. Don't be afraid because you might see bacon that has nitrites in it. Of course, we always want to work toward eating really good quality food, but don't be too hard on yourself. I feel like there's just this air in the wellness world that it's like, if you don't buy the organic produce and the, organic grass-fed meat, that it's just not worth it. It's just not the case. A lot of times those things are going on sale. And honestly, the work that we're doing is making grocery stores and butcher shops and other local businesses realize that it's important to carry those things, which will then drive down the price. The more people that want it, the less money it's going to cost. But don't be too hard on yourself. It's, and especially like it can be the time of year that it is. Maybe you're a little bit low on funds for a few weeks. It's okay. It's better to buy, some produce versus just eating, I don't know, cereal, like I said, for breakfast. If you want to just get the regular berries, they're not organic. It's okay. Truly, it's okay. So the last thing I'm going to say is that if you are new to keto and you have questions, you can download my cheat sheet that just has 5 simple steps to starting keto. And also just take a look at my website. We have tons of resources on there that we want to help you with and make this process a little bit easier. If you have questions, you can leave them in the comment section and I will take a look and I will reply to you personally. I hope you guys are having a great day and I will talk to you later.